So we are just going to kind of delve into the basics of online communities. Throughout the other sessions, I'm going to kind of break down some additional information as well. But this one, we're just going to kind of define what online communities are and exactly what each kind of member contributes to the ecosystem and that sort of thing, and kind of defining what the various online community managers will be doing. So just a little bit about myself. My name is Elliot Volkman. I'm the community manager for a government contracting network. It's called GovWin, and we have about 35,000 members right now. It's not what you would call a traditional online community, but I'll kind of go into that a little bit more as we define and break it down as well. Just as a little bit of background for my experience as well. I've got a bachelor's in journalism and a master's in communication, and I also just recently published my thesis, which was identifying online communities as self-sustaining ecosystems for fulfilling members' needs. For short, that's identifying what motivates online communities, more particularly the members and what motivates them. And this is what actually these sessions are going to kind of be based off of, and of course past research and current research. All right, so again, if you have any questions, feel free to use that the chat feature, and if you have any questions later on, just send me a message on Reddit or on Twitter. You can find me as the Journalizer on either of them. Okay, so for this particular series, I'm not going to be doing it as the same as this introductory one. I figure since most of you are probably Redditors, might as well use some internet memes and explain it that way. But the next sessions are going to be a little bit more professional, and I can confirm that Reddit's general manager and used to be community manager will be talking for the 4th session, and GovLoop's community manager will be taking the 5th session as well. And all these will be posted online, so if you can't attend, that works out as well too. I should note, I probably sound like a frog right now, and that's because I'm sick, so I apologize for that as well. So exactly what is an online community? Well, there's not a single definition that will apply to all online communities. Obviously, they kind of vary based on the general theme and why that community exists. But there is a particular definition that I think is suitable for a lot of communities, and it actually comes from a person who has a long history of online communities. For those of you who are not familiar with online communities in the past, one of the most, I guess, as online communities were evolving in 1985, there's one that's called The Well, or the whole electronic link, and that is for short The Well. One of the participants in there is named Howard Rheingold. So he defined online communities as virtual communities are cultural aggregations that emerge when enough people bump into each other, often enough in cyberspace. So let's just break that apart just a little bit. What we're seeing here is that doesn't necessarily mean that you go to a specific web address and that's where the online community is. What Howard is saying here is that online communities can occur anywhere around a general theme or topic. So let's not confuse social medias by saying that they are specifically part of online communities. They're a big part of it, but they are not online communities. So I'll get into exactly what I mean by this in just a minute. But moving on, he also says a virtual community is a group of people who may or may not meet one another face to face. As Redditors, you all know, meetups are part of everything that occurs, but it's not necessarily the most important factor. As I'm part of the Washington, D.C. Reddit, they love meetups. I get like a mailing probably 3 or 4 times a week saying that everyone wants to go do board games or do zombie tag or that sort of thing. But again, not all parts of online communities are part of that. But again, online communities are also not supplemental for face-to-face communication. It's just a way to increase global communication real-time immediate communication or instant gratification, that sort of thing. And finally, online communities are consistent of who exchange words and ideas through the mediation of computer bulletin boards or networks. So obviously a more familiar term would be forums or groups or that sort of thing. And if you're interested in more about Howard's stuff, he actually has a book or a collection of musings on his experience with that first community, and you can find it on his website. He published it in chapters. He also published it, so you can buy that as well.